Halo is a game where you shoot aliens. No. It's of course a lot more than that. You can also betray Marines. But really, this is a consequential game as far as game design goes. Before Halo, shooters were more about wandering around, dodging and weaving between bullets, whilst constantly shooting and getting to the next health restore. Basically that. You can see this design in games like Doom, Quake, and Half-Life, which of course all came before Halo. But after Halo, this game design just kind of went out the window. At least it didn't get very far after that. And I'm not saying Doom, Quake, and Half-Life are bad games. In fact, Half-Life is a masterpiece, but Halo definitely changed things. And whether that's better or worse, it's left to interpretation. No longer do you need to find a health pack to advance in Halo. You can just hide and get your shield back. Nor do you have to wander around every map looking for a button somewhere to solve a stage's overarching puzzle. Halo is meant to be easily understood and therefore easily played, and in my opinion, that's a great quality for any video game to have. So, is Halo still worth playing today? I personally think so. I think you just need to approach it with an open mindset, which is a very typical thing to say of any type of medium you like, which other people don't like. But really, you need to approach it with an open mindset where you're accepting of these flaws, and it's 20 years old. And then I think you can start to see some of the smart design that's lying throughout. And the graphics are lifeless and flat by today's standards, yes. And the remaster doesn't help much in that regard, because now the remaster is 9 or 10 years old, one or the other, and it's based on assets from an 11-year-old game. And it just hasn't aged well because the art direction doesn't fit in line with the original Halo anyway. And also, the vehicles do control like a drunk elephant on roller skates being chased by a mouse, but if you accept these faults, I think you'll find a smartly designed, very addicting game underneath. And that's all you really need to enjoy a game at the end of the day. But now, let's talk about what has aged well with Halo 1. I think what has aged well, and I'm probably going to get a lot of disagreements on this because it's a bit counterintuitive, but it's the limited amount of weapons available to you. And I know that sounds stupid, but hear me out. There are only 8 weapons: the pistol, assault rifle, shotgun, sniper rifle, rocket launcher, plasma pistol, plasma rifle, and the needler. But due to this limited amount, the stages are typically compactly designed to complement them and their various effects. And although some campaign maps are limited to maybe 4 out of 8 of these weapons, the campaign maps themselves are smartly designed around that limited choice. That it's just easier for the game designers to design their game cohesively for the player from that standpoint, and it really shines through that aspect of it in Halo 1, at least for the early levels. So in the level Truth and Reconciliation, for example, you're given a sniper rifle, which you can keep and find ammo for as you play along, or you can just abandon it and get something else instead, so you can have a plasma pistol, plasma rifle combo instead to have double damage for if you want to take off shields off Elite or something. But, in the end, if you get rid of the sniper rifle, you'll make life a lot harder for yourself in terms of this level, as there are parts of the stage later on where having a long-range weapon is super useful, like for sniping these Jackals and Elites in this Covenant carrier on the upper levels. And the only weapon I've never found to be useful is the Needler. I think it's mostly here as a beginner's weapon since its ammo tracks onto its target, but it's definitely not a weapon a competent player would ever want to use, so it's really the only weapon out of those 8 where I just completely avoid it. All the other ones I can find a specific use for. But like I said, the effectiveness of every weapon is relative to the design of the level you're playing at that time. In Flood levels, you'll always want to be carrying a shotgun. Always. Whilst in Covenant heavy levels, you'll typically want to carry a sniper rifle to pick off elites, as the pistol isn't very good against them, although it is a great all-rounder weapon, everything considered. And only being able to carry 2 weapons can be annoying. It is annoying, but there is a fun amount of strategy involved in deciding which weapons to keep and which to leave behind.
Coolant leakage rate is significant. The ship's reactor should already have gone critical.
So, quick notes about the grenades. They are awesome in this game. They're kind of like throwing mini nukes at your enemies. There is just something so satisfying about taking out 6+ flood forms with one well-placed grenade. Actually, when I think about it, every weapon in this game feels overpowered, at least in comparison to their sequel counterparts. And I love this type of game design where everything is just overpowered, so they feel powerful constantly. But I guess it doesn't work for multiplayer, since if you have these same weapons in multiplayer, you'll die in 1 second to pretty much everything. So I can see why it had to go. Now it's time to talk about some negatives, as this game does have negatives. And I just want to mention the glaring flaws which keep this from being a perfect game. And number one is that the level design falls off a cliff right after the level 343 Guilty Spark, which is a swamp level where you meet the Flood, just as a reminder. The best levels are at the very beginning of the game, which is how it should be, but later levels, particularly the library, feel very repetitive and monotonous. What's worse is that they, Bungie, seem to be self-aware about it. I mean, look at these checkpoint names as an example of that. I mean, maybe they are running on time constraints and a lesser experienced portion of the team made this level. I don't know, it's all just guesses from my end. But it is very strange how bad the level design is in the library. And Keys as well, which is the second to last level. My second gripe is with the Rocket Flood enemy. Yeah, just this one enemy, it deserves it, having its own gripe section. These guys have perfect laser precision aim when they want to kill you. And I never felt it was fair when I got killed by one of these things. It'd just be totally random. I'd go around a corner and there, you're dead. Here's a rocket. Get 1 millisecond to react. And I can really see why they never brought these guys back. It's for the best that way. The worst thing though, the real pain, is that their pinpoint accurate laser aim goes out the window when they're fighting the Covenant. Or at least it did in this particular clip, seen here. Like, all I want him to do is kill the Wraith tank up ahead. And positive that if I were somehow driving that Wraith tank, I'd be blown sky high in a matter of milliseconds by that Flood enemy. But no, I want that Wraith tank dead, it's an enemy over there, so obviously his pinpoint accurate aim is gone out the window as soon as I need it to be pinpoint accurate. My third and last major gripe is this one particular Elite Ultra on the level 2 betrayals. Again, I'm getting even more nitpicky than the Flood rocket enemy, but this one single Elite Ultra on 2 betrayals, I mean, if you've played this level on Legendary, you know. And I think I'll leave it at that. So in summary, Halo is a very consequential and addicting game, and there really wasn't anything quite like it at the time. It starts off strong and fizzles out. But overall, it is a solid experience. My rating would be an 8 out of 10, just a very solid game. And to explain my seemingly low score to people who think that's a low score, please remember that I am not IGN. To me, an 8 out of 10 is a really good game score. That is a respectable game. It is absolutely worth your time. It really does leave an impact. 10 out of 10 is an unattainable, in the clouds type of rating. No game is 10 out of 10. Everything has imperfections. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching my little overview on Halo. I hope you enjoyed it, and you have a great day.